Okay, today we are plunging headfirst into Sophocles' Oedipus the King. It's truly one of the most intellectually demanding tragedies ever put to stage.
Absolutely. And its power, its lasting impact, isn't just the shocking story. It's really about how Sophocles crafts his argument, how he uses rhetoric.
Yeah, how he just holds you captive.
It kicks off with this fundamental, deeply unsettling paradox. You've got this brilliant king, Oedipus, right? He's totally dedicated to solving this awful crime plaguing his city.
But he's the one who did it.
Exactly. He is the perpetrator. The hero is his own villain. That central tension that drives the whole thing.
And today we're giving this classic the kind of deep analysis it really deserves. So enjoy a bold new take on play coverage with this extended analysis.
It's more than just a summary, though. We'll cover that, too.
Right. This feature really digs into how the author shapes the argument, builds influence, and, well, earns or maybe loses your trust along the way.
It gives you the tools, hopefully, to read with sharper insight, more discernment.
Thinking about reading this tragedy, this should definitely help you decide. It's also, frankly, excellent for aspiring writers looking at structural mastery.
And, persuasive voice. If you find this expanded format valuable, please let us know. Your feedback really helps guide what we do next.
Definitely.
And just a quick operational note. You are experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM, which allows for this deeper, more dynamic analysis.
Okay, so let's set the stage. Oedipus the King. Its endurance over literally centuries. It rests almost entirely on Sophocles' mastery of rhetoric.
Specifically, those emotional appeals, pathos, and that profound exploration of fate versus free will, that clash.
So looking at the rhetorical foundation, the subject is pretty clear. Oedipus's rapid downfall as he uncovers the truth.
Yeah, the truth behind that horrifying prophecy. And in doing so, the play brings up these huge universal issues: leadership, truth, fate.
What is good leadership? What are the limits of truth? What about fate?
And Sophocles' purpose seems pretty philosophical, doesn't it? To make us reflect on, well, the limits of our own understanding.
And the consequences of pride. That sort of willful ignorance.
Now, Sophocles himself had incredible credibility ethos, as the Greeks called it. He wasn't just some playwright. He was the leading dramatist in Athens.
His reputation alone gave the play huge authority. It tapped right into the values and maybe the anxieties of Athenian society around 420 BC.
And think about the context, the urgency, the exigence driving it. Sophocles was responding to real societal questions. What is duty? What makes a leader? What's the role of the gods?
And he dramatizes all that through the plague in Thebes. It's immediate, it's urgent.
It's brilliant because the plague isn't just literal sickness, it's symbolic. It represents this deep disorder, this rottenness in the city that won't go away until the killer is found.
And that sense of disorder is perfectly mirrored in the play's tone, how it shifts.
Oh, absolutely. The tone follows Oedipus's own journey, right?
Yeah.
From that initial confidence, almost arrogance.
Yeah, I pity you children. Very top-down.
Exactly. Incisive, but definitely patronizing. He thinks he's above it all, fixing the problem.
And there's a cry.
Crashes.
Oh,
By
boy.
the end, the tone is desperate, tragic, humbled. He starts from this position of total authority, completely unaware he's the source of the suffering.
That initial arrogance, that blindness, it sets up the play's core argument perfectly. A dramatic irony.
Ah, yes. This is the absolute heart of Sophocles' persuasive technique. It's why the play feels so incredibly tight, so brilliant structurally.
So logic logos is definitely present. I mean, Oedipus runs a pretty thorough investigation into Laius's murder.
He does. He questions witnesses. He considers the oracle. It feels like a logical process,
What?
but the logic is constantly undercut by the irony. Every single step he takes toward finding the truth, toward justice.
Is a step closer to his own ruin.
Precisely. He's blind to his own identity even as he's trying so hard to see the truth. He sees everything except himself.
Can you give a specific example? Because that constant irony is what makes it so powerful, so sustained.
Okay, think about the scene where Oedipus publicly curses Laius's killer. He calls down this terrible fate upon the unknown murderer. But the audience knows. We know. The gods know he's cursing himself. He's the detective building this airtight case against the man in the mirror.
Wow.
And this irony-drenched structure, that's what holds the play together. The investigation feels logical, moment to moment.
Right, it follows the steps.
But that underlying inevitability of fate, it just keeps challenging conventional logic. It reinforces that tragic vision. There's no escaping it.
And what's fascinating is how this irony messes with Oedipus's own credibility, his ethos for the audience.
Definitely. At first, you respect him. He solved the riddle of the Sphinx, saved the city before. He's decisive, takes action.
But those very qualities become flaws, that pride, that quick temper, his readiness to just condemn Tiresias or Creon.
Right. It exposes his hubris, his fatal flaw. You admire the leader in him, but then you start pulling back as he refuses to listen, refuses to see.
So Sophocles gives us this complex figure, not just a hero, not just a villain.
Exactly. His strengths are the source of his destruction. That's masterful characterization, masterful use of ethos.
And even as Oedipus's authority crumbles, as his credibility cracks, Sophocles uses that fall to ramp up the emotional impact. The pathos is just overwhelming.
Oh, the suffering is palpable. Oedipus, the city. This sense of being crushed by divine punishment you can't understand. It creates horror, yes, but also sympathy and suspense.
You really feel it, and the imagery helps enormously there.
Incredibly vivid, visceral imagery. Sophocles doesn't just say there's a plague, he makes you feel it.
Like the bloody plague crashing like a tide of death.
Yes, or the city as a sinking ship. That figurative language isn't just description. It forces you, the audience, to internalize the horror, the weight of it all.
Okay, let's take a quick mindful moment here. If you're finding this analysis interesting, discover more like it, summaries, critiques, all sorts of book and play analysis over on our YouTube channel. It's all there to inspire reflection and rational thought.
Good point. Now, moving into the structure itself, the narrative strategy, it's just masterful.
It really is. He uses a structure that feels very familiar initially.
Right, it mimics a detective story.
Yeah.
There's a crime, an investigation unfolding step by step, chronologically.
Which immediately hooks you. You want to know the solution, just like in any mystery. It builds that tension.
And this is the genius part, just when you expect the typical detective story ending. You know, the case is solved, order restored.
Sophocles pulls the rug out from under you.
Completely. He subverts that whole structure.
Yeah.
The revelation isn't about solving a crime in the way we expect. It's about revealing the terrifying power of inescapable fate.
So the structure itself serves his ultimate purpose, forcing the audience to grapple with the limits of human agency, not just whodunit.
And you can see this tension even in the language, the specific rhetorical devices Sophocles uses. Look at the syntax, for example.
The way sentences are put together.
Yeah. He contrasts that super rapid-fire dialogue stichomythia, those short, sharp exchanges.
Like in the arguments with Tiresias.
Exactly. With these big, extended monologues where characters pour out their grief or reasoning.
And that contrast does so much for the pacing. The stichomythia feels like blows landing fast and hard. It builds pressure.
Unbearable pressure sometimes. While the monologues give space, they let the weight of the suffering sink in.
The figurative language is also everywhere. Blindness is the obvious one.
The central metaphor, really. Ignorance, denial, not just lack of sight.
And the crossroads.
Not just a place, but the place. The fateful juncture where everything was set in motion, even if you didn't know it.
Even simple things, like the idea of the #1 murderer they're looking for,
Becomes symbolic of Oedipus himself. His unique guilt, his isolation in that guilt.
And Sophocles uses rhetorical questions constantly.
But not simple questions. They're deep, unsettling ones like, is that the sweet-sounding voice of Zeus? They make you question the gods, fate, justice.
They draw the audience into the philosophical debate. You're not just watching, you're implicated.
The structure also relies heavily on contrast juxtaposition, especially with leadership styles.
Oedipus versus Creon, that's a big one.
Huge. Oedipus is all passionate impulse, pride, lashing out, quick to accuse, quick to condemn.
Whereas Creon is presented, initially at least, as much more measured, pragmatic restraint.
Remember his defense. When Oedipus accuses him of treason, Creon calmly lays out why he wouldn't want the throne. He has the influence without the stress. It's a rational argument.
So Sophocles isn't just telling a story. He's putting different leadership ideals side by side and asking which one works, which one leads to ruin.
And the play gives a pretty clear answer on the dangers of unchecked pride and impulsiveness.
Which brings us to the ethical takeaway. What's the lesson here?
Well, the genius is that Sophocles doesn't really lecture. He avoids easy moralizing.
No simple don't be proud message.
Not at all. Instead, he just shows us the crushing complexity of guilt, of responsibility, of punishment. It forces a personal, ethical reflection on everyone watching. What does it mean to be responsible? How much control do we really have?
It's this profound argument against prideful leadership, but it's also a critique of the limits of self-knowledge, all wrapped in this incredibly tight structure.
And it leaves us with that core tension. fate versus action.
Exactly. If the play demonstrates so powerfully that Oedipus's fate was basically sealed from birth,
Then how do we reconcile that with our idea of human responsibility? He still makes choices. He still acts. He still blinds himself in the end.
he owns his actions, in a way, even if the path was predetermined.
Right. The play doesn't necessarily say we have no free will, but maybe that our choices happen within a framework we can't escape, and we're still accountable. So what does that imply about self-understanding? If our actions might just be fulfilling a script, yet we bear the consequences.
That's the question that sticks with you long after the play ends, that philosophical weight.
It truly is a tragedy for the ages because of that depth.
So, for the in-depth play summary, click the link on screen. And please subscribe, share, maybe purchase the play via the link, and always think rationally.
And don't forget to check out the many genre-based book explorations at Mindful Moments. Subscribe and nourish your mind on the go.